Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I am a transgender woman and I talk about all things horror. And I'm here to talk about Night of the Creeps. Night of the Creeps is a interesting and very fascinating 80s sci-fi horror B-movie because this is like the B movie every modern 80s retro movie copycats. This is it. This is the one they're trying to recreate. When you see a film like Stranger Things or Lisa Frankenstein or even fucking Adventureland, which isn't even really a horror movie, when they're ripping off the 80s, this is the fucking movie that they're drawing on. When they're trying to say, what did people look like in the 80s? This is the reference point. This is the most 80s B movie I have ever seen. And it's damn fucking awesome. So a little bit about the movie. It starts out bonkers as shit. You have, spoilers, weird ass fucking naked ass baby aliens running around chasing naked ass baby aliens on a spaceship. And I guess they eject some sort of biohazard material that crash lands on Earth in the 1950s. Which, during the 1950s segment, for one, it's black and white, which is pretty fucking cool because it's a throwback to 1950s sci-fi horror B-movies. And two, it's like the trope you're familiar with. It's two kids in a car at Lover's Lane, and they get attacked by a zombie, and, shit hits the fan, and then, the movie starts, 30 years later in the 80s. Most of the movie is centered around a group of college students. The men are pledging to be a part of the, whatever the fuck you call it, that dumbass dude bros join. Fraternity, I think is the word. I don't fucking know. And then you got a house full of sorority girls, which, sorority girls in an 80s movie, you come to expect this. It's a trope for a fucking reason. And basically, the whatever the fuck it was the aliens shot at Earth is some kind of mutant slug that when it enters a person's body, and it doesn't have to be a human, it can be any living creature, as you'll find out, it turns the host into a zombie, and then it projectile vomits baby slugs into the mouth of nearby living creatures to spread the zombie virus? This fucking movie rocks. This is a fucking kick-ass movie. It's one of the greatest fucking 80s cheesy horror B-movies I've ever seen. I only watched it for the first time, a week or two ago. And I was, fucking blown away. I was pissed off that I didn't see this movie as a kid because I would have fucking loved this movie as a kid. But I'm happy to report that I discovered it now as an adult. And it is just oozing with 80s charm. So much so that I was just even though I never seen it, it felt like one of those familiar movies that I probably grew up with. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's, it's what you would expect. This isn't a trauma film. It's not a big budget like Hollywood blockbuster, don't get me wrong. But it's not a trauma film, so rest easy. You're not going to get too much schlock. You're not going to get overdosed with schlock. There's schlock in this movie. There's cheese in this movie, but it's like a good, it's like a good pepperoni pizza. There's just enough cheese to hold it together. There's not too much fucking cheese. It's not a 4-cheese pizza where you're like, Jesus Christ, there's too much cheese on this thing. And it's got all the cameos you would expect from an 80s sci-fi B-movie, you know. The dude from Gremlins, the drunk. I forget the actor's name, but he's in everything. Tom Atkins, he's in all the B-movies in the 80s. If there's a B-movie in the 80s, you can bet your ass it's got Tom Atkins in it. Everybody else, they're not names you're going to know, but they're faces and voices you're going to recognize. You're going to be like, oh, it's the girl from that thing, or it's the dude from that thing. You know these people. You know, you don't know them, but you know, these are like the kids that sat in the back in English class. You like recognize them when you go to the reunion, but you don't know their names. But you're like, hey, I remember you. You know, you're the kid that, you know, ate bubblegum for whatever, or whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. They're not like superstars, but they're B-movie staples. Obviously, I recommend this as a buy. You're going to watch... This is going to probably... I would recommend this as an annual rewatch. It's that fucking fun. And if you're looking for proof that Tom Atkins isn't a total dipshit, because if you're going to watch Season of the Witch or The Fog, you're going to be like, dude, why do people like this guy? It's because of Night of the Creeps. That is why people like that dude. If this was the only movie he did, he would still be a household name among horror fans. Because it's that fucking good. I have nothing else to say about it. Just fucking watch it. And watch it like over and over and over again, because you're going to be obsessed with this movie the first time you see it. Because you're going to be like, fuck yeah, this is what I'm looking for in an 80s sci-fi horror B movie. This is literally the template.